Like, originally you popped off Pretty Little Liars. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk to you lightly about Pretty Little Liars because I can imagine... I don't want to say you're, like, annoyed by talking about it, but that was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure in every interview you do, people want to talk to you about it. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
A-okay. You know why? Because that's what gave me my start, and I will never forget that, and I will never look down on that. Pretty Little Liars was the biggest turning point in my life. I was doing bottle service before that, and when I booked this job, it changed my life forever. And it gave me the opportunities and the experiences that I've had, and I owe everything. I'm like, I still talk to Marlene King all the time, and I'm like, thank you for saying yes in that callback, you know? And like, it changed my life. I could never talk badly about it. And I love it. And I love, you know, when they do the spin-offs, and I'm always like, that's amazing, that's awesome. I love the fact that I was a part of so many people's lives in a really important part. Yep. Like, for me, like, watching the OC, like, that was my thing. You know, Gossip Girl, that was my thing. Mm-hmm. So when people come up and they're like, I loved you, you know, I grew up with you, I'm like, that's awesome. And the fact that I got to play the character that I did is, like, even more amazing.
Well, yeah. You have now played how many queer characters in your career?
Almost all of them. Maybe I was just like meant to be. I'm like a vehicle to like tell their stories. But I also feel like I have never also put myself in a category. I'm not one. I don't love a label. I don't love a title. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to label my sexuality. I don't want to label my relationship. I never wanted to be a wife. Like, I don't want to be put in a category.
Why do you think that is?
I just want to be free. Like, I just want to be me, whatever that is. And, like, right now, I'm in a relationship with a man, and that's cool and it's amazing, but, like, in 5 or 10 years, I don't know.
Could be a woman.
Could be. I never know, and I never want to put myself in a position where I feel, like, constricted.
Yeah. Had you ever kissed a girl before you took on the Emily role in Pretty Little Liars? You had?
Yeah. I had an experience before playing these characters, yeah. It wasn't like, oh, I'm playing this character, let me see how this feels. And that was the thing when people were like, how do you know how to play this if you haven't been in a relationship with a girl? Like, what? How do I know what it's like to, like, somebody loves... Like, I hated those questions. And that's what I would always get, like... How do you know how it feels? Or, like, how can you play this character if you're not a lesbian? Like, what? I don't know. I know what it's like to like somebody. It's the same shit.
Right. And I feel like we felt that in your character where, like, you are so confident in that role that I think it probably does help a lot of people watching you on screen being like, I want to be like that. I want to emulate that energy of just, like, confidence in still such a hetero world that we're in. Like, it's still not completely accepted, which is so fucked. And for you to be like, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, there's so much stuff that I do that's not accepted. Like, I really obviously aren't, like, I'm not one to stand by tradition. Like,
let's talk about that.